Hello y'all, this is Jayska from a Diamond and Sticks YouTube channel. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. On today's video, we're going to be going over this character here. He is called the Blight on Dead by Daylight, the horror video game. I play on this person's Steam account right now, and I use all their other resources for gaming right now. So let's get into it. This character here is prestige to a level 4. Here's what he looks like when he's checked marked off on the killer chart. Now, let's go ahead and get into his bio about him. And I really don't much like this character. I've played him like once or twice. I don't really play the killer side too much. And I think he is a hard killer to play. You have to know, some people call him the ping pong killer, because you have to know where to place him. You have to be good at it. So let's go ahead and read his bio together. The Blight. To understand the human condition, one must rise above it. This was the credo of a Talbot Grimes, a Scottish chemist whose unrestrained ambition took him to towering heights. As a boy, he was a popular child, bright, charismatic, and unafraid to challenge authority, yet despite his social graces, he was fiercely independent, spending much of his time exploring sprawling fields near his town alone. What began as a child's curiosity nearly turned deadly after experimenting with a patch of poisonous foxglove. For days he laid in the bed dripping with sweat, purging any food that touched his stomach. When he recovered, it wasn't fear that gripped him, but fascination. There was something magical in how a single flower could so drastically affect him. Into his adult years, his ambition developed, and as quickly as his questionable methods. He attended the London School of Medicine and excelled despite several repairments. His willingness to push the limits secured him a position with the British East India Company, and within 7 years he was made head chemist. In time, he completed one of his greatest achievements, a chemical that could increase a worker's productivity while reducing their need for rest. He was rewarded with a secret laboratory beneath a prison camp on Dyer Island. There, off the coast of India, prisoners from the Opium War became his unwilling subjects, leading to a drug that allowed soldiers to withstand irrecredible amounts of pain. Though the most side effects were minor, there was rumors that a small number of soldiers went mad. In feral states, they massacred villages, impaling the populace on bayonets, leaving them hanging from trees. There were no official reports on the subject, and the Talbot refused to blame himself for what could only be exaggerated war stories. Though his colleagues' brilliance seemed unflappable, he was ignorant to the enemies his questionable work had amassed. The realization struck him quite literally with a steel pipe to the back of his head during a trip to Mangalore. He was bound and loaded into a wagon. When his blindfold was removed, a sickly man showed him a mass grave filled with hundreds of bodies. Unbeknownst to the Talbot, his productivity increasing drug had killed nearly an entire factory's worth of workers. He knew he couldn't defend himself against the anger and accusations of his abductor. All he could do was curl up as the blows from the steel pipe rained down, his body thrown into the grave and left for the dead. Shifting between consciousness and the darkest black, he crawled for an escape, fingers sinking into rotting flesh. Black flies feasted on his uncovered skin. the sensation of 100 pin pricks stabbing into him. As he collapsed, he came face to face with a dead woman's dazzling hazel eyes. Too weak to pull away, he could do nothing but witness his life's work. Then, from the edge of death, he was brought back. He found himself on a small bed as a kindly wrinkled face looked over him. With each pained breath, he was nursed back to health in an ancient mystery school posing as a monastery. In violet gardens behind tall, unassuming walls, monks studied forbidden texts, striving to expand the human mind in the search for other dimensions, believing one to be connected to the other. Talbot's knowledge proved indispensable, his mind-altering chemicals integrating seamlessly with the theories of neutral expansion. He realized then that his salvation was no coincidence. He was plucked from the pit of specialty to advance the school's knowledge. He agreed to help until his recovery was complete, being tasked with researching what the monks called the soul chemical, a compound derived from the pineal gland that could open the mind's eye. What began as a favor to his savers soon became an obsession. Poring over the school's archives of the lost texts, he uncovered scientific formulas that confirmed previously unthinkable ideals. He dreamt of ushering humankind into a new period of enlightenment. Perhaps then the nightmares of hundreds of dead factory workers and of those two hazel eyes would fade away from his mind. As he came closer to the breakthrough, the demeanor of the monks shifted. The gentle smiles they offered were paired with uneasy eyes that quickly darted away when spotted. The polite conversations he was once privacy to turned to hushed murmurs. The last thing he would see of the school was the crackled ceiling above his bed, branching like a drint light through plaster. His next memories were of a shattered mosaic of images of sensation, smearing lights, horse hoofs on cobblestone, coarse burlap scratching at the cheeks, and sharp bites into his arms. He awoke, raged and unwashed, splashed on the straw mattress of an opium den, mind in a dense fog. His first thought was of his notes, the only record of his groundbreaking revelations. He searched frantically, scrambling through the dingy basement, pleading out loud for help. The few other denizens looked up from their hammocks, offering nothing but drug-soaked eyes and apathetic gazes that soon fell into half-slumber. Before he noticed the robbed figure appear behind him, a needle plunged into his arm, and the world disappeared once more. Awakened again, each time hazier than the last, he tugged at hollow gasps between his teeth. How long, he wondered, a faint memory turned. The soul chemical, his notes, the verge of a breakthrough. A faraway whisper entered his mind. He fumbled with a stone, sharpening it with shaking hands. In the dim light of a den amongst the catatonic occupants, he carved his research from memory into the walls. He wrote for hours until his fingers bled, moving to the floor, taking in everything the voice whispered despite his inability to comprehend it. When there was nowhere left to write, he gripped the stone and carved message into his chest. Stained with blood, he witnessed a miracle appear before him, a magnificent field of lush orange flowers. The whispered voice beckoned to him, urging him to enter the field and discover worlds and dimensions beyond human comprehension. For a moment, Talbot felt the sense of wonder he possessed as a child. The densions of the opium den awake to silence, the dry scent of smoke still lingering in the air, shambering out their drug-hazed fog. They found the stone floor wet with blood, tiny rivulets coursing through the cracks. As eyes adjusted to the darkening room, the jagged lettering scrawled along its length began to appear, written over and over. Within it there was but one single line: "Death is only the beginning." So that's his biography about him, the Blight. And I really don't like playing the Blight, and I don't really like playing against him. Like I said, he's a hard character to play. Let's go ahead and read his perks together. Dragon's Drill. It's in the purple, so it's very rare. After damaging a generator for the next 30 seconds, the first survivor that interacts with it will scream, revealing their location for 4 seconds and becoming afflicted with the exposed status effect for 60 seconds. Dragon's Drips has a cooldown for 40 seconds. Exposed survivors will be downed by basic attacks even if uninjured. Such potential is this compound. Even the slightest trace causes unnatural effects. Journal of Talbot Grimes. His next one is Hex Undenying. Very rare because it's in the purple. While Hex Undenying is active, survivors within 4 meters of any dual totem have their auroras revealed. When another hex totem would be cleansed, that totem's hex transfers to the Hex Undenying totem, deactivating Hex Undenying. Any tokens that transferred Hex had are transfixed as well. His last one is Hex Blood Favor. A lot of people I've noticed uses this perk too. It's in the purple, so it's very rare. A hex that gains the entity's favor when blood is spilled. Injuring a survivor will call upon the entity to block pallets from being pulled down within a 32-meter radius of the survivor's location for 15 seconds. The hex effects persist as long as the related hex totem is standing. It will be no leap of the imagination to suggest that the trials are a biological response of sorts. Journal of Talbot Grimes. His customizations, let's look at them. All this one has is this one right here. It's called the Blight. That's his original outfit. That's the one he's got on. Now let's look at his loadout. And this is what the owner of this account, the perks that they're using. Now let's look at his blood web. He is prestige to a level 4. Now let's look at him on the character map. There he looks like. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. That's the Blight. Thanks. Bye-bye.